Welcome back to Eat Sleep Boxing Repeats YouTube channel. This is a reaction video to the Alexander Usyk versus Joshua 2 weigh-in. I'd like to be joined by Greg. Just a reminder before we get started, this is a pay-per-view event, as I'm sure you all know. Please check the link in the description just below this video and purchase the pay-per-view via us. We'd really appreciate it. It would be a great help. Greg, happy Friday. How are you? Or just give me your general thoughts of the weigh-in of what we've just seen.
Elliot, yeah, thanks again for having me, my friend. Yeah, really interesting weigh-in for a number of reasons. Can't wait to get into it, but it was a little bit surprising on a few different fronts. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the build-up to it. Did you enjoy it yourself?
Yeah, mate, it was fascinating. Like we bring this up regularly, but we're in kind of quite an active WhatsApp group with the other ESBR guys, and must have exchanged about 100 messages just in the last couple of hours of who's going to look like what, who's going to come in at what weight, and all of that stuff. So there was a lot of build up in the weigh-in. It was a long weigh-in. You know, there's a lot of fights tomorrow, and there was a big gap between the Zhang Hrgovic fight and the two main guys, Usyk and Joshua, weighing in. So there was a lot of build up for a weigh-in. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fascinating. I think what was interesting was it was a different weigh-in and different feeling and different vibe to 11 months ago. And I want to get into that with you as well, because I was there at the O2 11 months ago where the weigh-in was back in London. And yeah, it was just a very different atmosphere, understandably. Interested to hear your thoughts on just your general reaction to the weigh-in, and yeah, what kind of vibes you got from both fighters in terms of body language, the shape of both of them, anything noticeable that you noticed, basically.
Yeah, of course, mate. There was a few things that I picked up on. As you guys know, with prediction videos and things, I would love to be able to do them right after a weigh-in. I feel that I could be as accurate as I could, but that's not always possible. And you know, if I know what I'm talking about a lot of the time, I shouldn't need to wait for a weigh-in, but I do read a lot into them. I'll be honest with you, Elliot, I think it just looked like Usyk holds Joshua's soul. I just looked at him. I just looked at the way they looked at each other, the general feeling, and it's a tricky one, Elliot, because how do you get inside Usyk's head? Aggression doesn't work. Marco Hook tried it. Belittling him doesn't work. Tony Bellew tried that. It's a tough one. Like I said to you this morning, I wanted to see Joshua walk in front of him, just look down at him and look aggressive, but not say anything, not say a word, but just feel his body on top of him and just the size and the mammoth that he's up against. But yeah, my overall reaction to it, Elliot, is that Usyk just looks like that crazy, unpredictable character as he always looks, and Joshua just looks like, I don't know how to figure you out. I don't know what to do with you because I don't know what will get inside your head. So yeah, really fascinating.
It's interesting what you touched on there. I think another thing about Usyk is that he speaks a bit of English, but not enough to have a proper conversation. So you can't really trash talk with him. And I feel like he's quite just like a jovial character as well. Because I remember when Tony Bellew called him a superstar, and Usyk just basically said, or me, a superstar, and just kind of shrugged it off and just clearly understood what Bellew had said, but just wasn't bothered by it at all. But what is interesting to me is at the weigh-in, I'll look at it again after we finish this, at the weigh-in and at the press conference yesterday, at the head-to-head, words were exchanged. And we might find out later today what was said, but obviously we don't know if Usyk understood what Joshua said and what was actually said. So that was interesting as well.
He speaks more English, Elliot, than he lets on.
Yeah,
I think he could a little bit of a conversation, but I think he chooses not to because he knows that'll annoy his opponent. I think he knows that'll annoy them, and he'll think, "What is the point in saying anything?" So 100%. I think he's a very, very clever guy. Very clever.
And I think also if this is a person's A's first language and it's person's B kind of second or third language, person A can make that person B look silly. I'm not saying Joshua would do that, but you can do that if, so, like, do you remember when, going off subject, do you remember when Billy Joe Saunders fought Canelo and he was being interviewed by a Mexican reporter, and towards the end of a sentence he would just like mutter abuse basically and just mutter something along the lines of you smell like shit or something like that? Do you remember that? Like that same time an example of taking advantage of someone who doesn't speak the same language that you do. And I
Yeah.
wonder if Usyk did speak more English. Someone like, say, a Tyson Fury might try and take the piss a bit more, but this is Anthony Joshua, and I don't think that's in his kind of character.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on swiftly. AJ, slightly heavier. Was it 4-ish pounds, something like that? Do you think he has done that on purpose? Do you think that's just a natural thing? I think like when guys are that sort of size, 4 pounds isn't a huge amount of weight.
Yeah.
But he has come in heavier. Just thoughts on that?
So he came in at 110 kilos. So that's what, is that 17 stone 3 or something like that? So it was about a pound or two heavier, yeah, than the first fight. I think it's just his natural weight where he feels like he can do a bit of everything. Elliot, I think if he came in Takam weight, Usyk would be too quick. He would just go around him and he wouldn't be able to keep up with him. At that weight, that lets him do a little bit of everything. So I said to you guys all along, I don't expect Joshua to be much heavier. I think I said it in previous videos, maybe a little bit, and that's what he was. So he's not surprised me with that. And I think that's a good weight for him because it's still heavy enough to do a lot of damage instead of dance around someone. If you've got a 17 stone 2 guy punching you square in the face and they've stopped 22 or 24 opponents, it's going to hurt a bit. You might actually go to sleep now that we talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's no, it is very interesting, but I think that's a good weight for him. I'm not saying he was too lean or too slim last time. I just think that bit more weight, I think he looked more comfortable today than he did at the previous weigh. And I think 245, in my opinion, that's Joshua's premium optimum weight. And we will see what happens tomorrow night. Moving on to the other side, Usyk. Feel like the talk of the town really this week was where's Usyk going to come in? There were obviously these videos circulating of him looking massive. There was that comment that Amir Khan made a couple of weeks ago, which ends up not quite being true, about him coming in 15 kilos heavier. Comes in, I think, came in half a pound heavier, so pretty much the same weight. I think one point I want to make as well is he's come in and he's wearing some jewelry, some trousers, he's got some socks on. So actually, in terms of his actual weight, he's 2 or 3 pounds lighter than what he was on the scale. So he's really coming in at, say, 218, 219 against Joshua, who's 245. Again, general thoughts on Usyk's appearance and him coming in at the same weight as last time.
Yeah, Elliot, I think he's fooled us all. And see now, before you started talking about that, there's something ran through my mind, and I could be wrong saying this, but when was the last time you seen Usyk's legs? And I've got a really good point to make here to this. If you are wearing heavy trouser wear or whatever, and you're showing your upper body, some people can make themselves look bigger. Sometimes you have to see someone's full figure to kind of judge what weight they're at. And now that I'm thinking on it, I could be completely wrong. I can't tell you the last time that I seen Usyk standing, wearing like very little, wearing shorts or whatever. So I think he's fooled us all, but I think that's his prime weight as well. I did expect him to come in a bit heavier. I thought he'd maybe come in about I think I said in the chat, 229 or so. He was 222. So yeah, I'm a little surprised. I'll be honest with you. I did think that he'd be a little bit heavier. But he's just a master of mind games, isn't he, Elliot? So expect the unexpected with Usyk.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was speechless when he got on those scales. I was happy to accept if he came on at 225, 226, 227. But the fact he's just done the same as last time, I thought was was pretty incredible, to be honest, after all the talk that's been this week. Final question. Final question from me, Greg. We've got just over 24 hours to go now. We know, I feel like a lot of people who are watching this video would have seen your prediction video. You've predicted Usyk to win. Are you sticking by that now? What are your final thoughts as we're 24 hours away now?
Yeah, I feel like I'm sticking with my prediction, Elliot. I think, like I said to you, Joshua looks like he just doesn't know what to do with Usyk in terms of mentality. He just looks at him as if to think, I could go crazy here and it's not going to intimidate you. I could act really friendly. It's not going to intimidate you. I just think that the first 4 or 5 rounds are going to be very telling tomorrow night. He needs to come out and hurt Usyk early. I'm not saying he needs to finish the fight early. I'm not one of these people that say he needs to blow the tank inside 6 rounds, but he needs to come out tomorrow night and he really needs to hit him early and let him know that he's in with a big guy, a big athletic guy. In terms of the fight tomorrow night, as we're speaking, I just think Usyk will be clever enough to get out of the way. I think he's going to be even more alert this time because he knows that Joshua's coming to hurt him. So,
yeah.
Elliot, it's tough because a big guy can really hurt. It doesn't matter what they look like. If they hit you clean, you're gone. So it's really hard to try and think ahead. But I'll be honest with you, I see Usyk maybe coming through a couple of difficulties and just being too smart and maybe stopping a gassed Joshua or running quite wide again in the cards.
And what if you had to lean towards one way, whether it be an Usyk stoppage or an Usyk points? I know it depends what happens in the fight, but what are your thoughts? If you could only pick one, whether it be an Usyk stoppage or Usyk points, what would you lean towards then?
Stoppage. And the reason being is because Joshua knows he needs to come and hurt him. So he's going to put out a lot of energy to do that. He's going to be chasing the fight at times. And, come round 8, 9, if he's not put a dent on Usyk, the tank's going to go empty, Elliot. And he's a big guy, and that's just naturally what happens to big guys. And Usyk has shown that he's a supreme fitness athlete. Not just an athlete, a fitness athlete. I just think that Joshua will absolutely go for broke at one point, and it'll be the end of the fight.
Yeah, good stuff. We will leave it there. This is the last piece of content we are doing before the fights. We've done a lot, which we'll be re-promoting over the next 24 hours. Greg, thanks for your time. Not just for this piece of content, but for however many pieces of content we've done together for this fight. It's been emotional. It's been a lot, and we're nearly there, and we're looking forward to it now. But yeah, thank you for your time. I will speak to you after the fight. But yeah, thanks again.
Thoroughly enjoyed it, Elliot. Thank you so much, my friend.